Hey, what's up? People Pizowell here, and with Valentine's Day right around the corner, I decided to do a review of 2009's My Bloody Valentine 3D. Now, on my review for the Scream Factory Collector's Edition Blu-ray release of the original My Bloody Valentine, I had a viewer comment in the comment section asking me my thoughts on My Bloody Valentine 3D, and my memory of the film was a little bit foggy. I didn't remember very much about the movie itself. However, I definitely very vividly remembered the hype for My Bloody Valentine 3D, at least on my part, because of all the remakes that we got back during that period. Easily the one that I was the most excited about was My Bloody Valentine 3D. Now, it had nothing to do with the movie being in 3D. I did not watch the film in 3D when it was released. As I'm somebody who wears glasses, I'm either having to put the 3D glasses over my glasses in order to see everything, but then that you don't quite get the full 3D effect there. I could always take my glasses off, put on the 3D glasses, but then all I'm seeing are 3D blurs of things. Now, I was really excited for My Bloody Valentine 3D for two reasons. One, because I thought the trailer for the film looked really good, and two, because I knew we would get a new DVD release of the original My Bloody Valentine, which we did, and it was a pretty solid DVD release that reinstated a lot of the scenes that were cut out of the theatrical release of the film. I also vividly remember going to the theater to watch the film. Opening weekend, it was a packed theater. Everybody seemed really excited for this movie. And My Bloody Valentine 3D was one of those movies where pretty early on into the movie, my excitement for the film kind of washed away. And the realization of the fact that the movie just wasn't very good set in. And it was one of those very sinking feelings where you realize that this movie that you've been very excited about isn't that great, and it's probably not going to get any better. So my initial reaction to My Bloody Valentine 3D was not that positive. I did see the film on DVD. I saw the film a couple of times on television. I bought the Blu-ray, but I don't recall ever actually watching the film on Blu-ray until I decided to do this review. And upon a second and third viewing of My Bloody Valentine 3D, my thoughts on the film kind of, I don't know. I was asked by a viewer in the comments section of my Scream Factory My Bloody Valentine Collector's Edition Blu-ray release what my thoughts are on My Bloody Valentine 3D. And my response was, I think it's okay. I don't love it. I don't hate it. It just kind of is what it is. But I was motivated to go back and revisit the film, and I can safely say that having watched the film again for the first time in several years, this time around watching the film for the purposes of this review was easily the most fun I've ever had watching My Bloody Valentine 3D. Now, the movie follows pretty much the exact same beats as the original My Bloody Valentine. You've got this small coal mining community where years ago, Harry Warden committed a series of brutal murders while trapped down inside the mines with his fellow coal miners. The event has kind of haunted this small town for all of these years. The town is called Harmony in the remake instead of calling it Valentine Bluffs, which was the name of the town in the original My Bloody Valentine. You've got the TJ character who's returning home after many years of we don't know where he's been, only his name's not TJ here, his name is Tom. You've got Axel, you've got their love triangle involving Sarah, and you've got somebody running around in full coal miner attire, killing people with a pickaxe. Is Harry Warden back in town, or does somebody want you to believe that Harry Warden is back in town? Now, as far as the positives for My Bloody Valentine 3D, I really liked the cast of this film. I liked Jensen Ackles as Tom. I liked Kerr Smith as Axel. I really liked Jamie King as Sarah. I think she delivers the best performance in this film. We also get a small role from the great Tom Atkins here, and it's always great to see Tom Atkins in pretty much anything because he is the Atkins. And that Atkins stash, I cannot think of a more radiant symbol of masculinity than Tom Atkins' mustache. The three lead characters in the film are all fairly well written. They're fairly layered characters. This is really a character-driven slasher movie, very much like the original My Bloody Valentine. Now, the characters aren't nearly as colorful or as lovable as the original My Bloody Valentine, but I do like the characters in this film. I think the performances are good. I think they're well-written characters. I like the characters in this film. We also get an enormous body count in My Bloody Valentine 3D, and the film wastes absolutely no time when it comes to letting the bodies hit the floor. I think literally within about the first 15 minutes of this movie, we've already seen a massacre take place. Now, most of the kills in this film are computer generated, and that is one big knock on My Bloody Valentine 3D, but that's because the film is in 3D, and of course, because it's just cheaper, easier, quicker to do it digitally than to do it practically. Still, I think the kills in My Bloody Valentine 3D are pretty good and really daggone brutal. We've got a pickaxe going through the back of one guy's head, out his eye socket with his eyeball stuck on the tip of the pickaxe. We've got a lady who gets a shovel rammed through her mouth, and that one's really cool. We've got pickaxe underneath a guy's jaw and his jaw being ripped off. We've got pickaxes through the top of the head, pickaxes through the eye. We've got lots of blood, lots of gore, and lots of carnage, which is pretty much always a plus in my book. The pacing of the film is tight. The music is pretty good. There's plenty of callbacks to the original My Bloody Valentine. And then we have the sequences involving Betsy Rue, in which she fearlessly bears all. As a matter of fact, if you've seen this film, I'm pretty sure that if you remember nothing else about the My Bloody Valentine remake, you remember the sequences that involve Betsy Rue and Todd Farmer, the co-writer of the film. And kudos to Todd Farmer for using that leverage in order to get himself into those scenes with lovely Ms. Rue. Now, as far as the negatives with the My Bloody Valentine remake, there are some very questionable moments in this film. There's a sequence where a sheriff's deputy is parked in front of Axel's home. Now, Axel is the sheriff of Harmony, and a lot of people in this town are on red alert because they believe that Harry Warden is back. So a lot of people are keeping their eyes peeled for someone in full coal miner attire. Everyone except for this sheriff's deputy who is parked directly in front of Axel's home, because she somehow completely misses the killer dressed in full coal miner attire walk right through the front door. Now, they try to cover this by giving her, like, I don't know, she's reading something or looking at something, but still, a large man in full coal miner attire just walked right through the front door of the town sheriff's home with a sheriff's deputy staked out directly in front of the home. Then Tom Atkins' character appears out of nowhere, banging on the window of this sheriff's deputy's car, and he says he's here. He's in the house. Where did Tom Atkins' character come from? How did he see Harry Warden walk through the front door of this house, but the sheriff's deputy parked right in front of the house completely missed him? Now, that's only kind of a minor gripe because it involved Tom Atkins, and that sequence gave Tom Atkins a little more screen time, which, again, the more Tom Atkins, the better, in my opinion. But when it comes to the twist at the end of the movie, involving the reveal of the killer's identity. Now, the movie keeps throwing all of these red herrings out at you during the course of the film. However, it becomes painfully obvious very early on that the identity of the killer is either going to be one of two characters. And then, I don't know, around the halfway point, maybe a little after the halfway point, it becomes pretty obvious who the killer is. Now, I think maybe the filmmakers realized this, so they decided to throw this twist in there, which kind of makes me think that maybe the twist was something added at the last minute or something to that effect, because for the twist to work, they're taking some serious storytelling liberties, and or they're just hoping that the audience isn't paying that much attention Now, I don't want to give anything away. I don't want to spoil anything, even though this is a movie that's been out for over 10 years. But the twist, as far as the identity of the killer in this film, has never really set right with me. It kind of feels a little cheap. It kind of feels a little bit like a cheat, but it is what it is. Another thing that's always stuck out to me about this movie is how artificial everything looks and feels, because everything is just overly digitized. And again, that's because they were shooting the film in 3D, but it gives the movie this sort of, I don't know, empty, hollow kind of feeling. The movie lacks this sense of setting, I think, because of that, because it feels to me like, I mean, it almost feels like characters standing in front of a green screen and the town and the mine and everything is just like a green screen or something. That's how overly digitized this movie looks. And because of that, everything just looks kind of like a cheap set instead of real locations. Now, I know they filmed on real locations in a real coal mine in a real small town, but it just lacks that sense of setting. Like, it just lacks that sense of place to me, because it's just so, I don't know, everything is just so digitally rendered in this movie. It's overly digitally rendered. And that may only be a problem for me, but again, it just gives the film this hollow, heartless feeling. Now, as I said in the beginning, watching the My Bloody Valentine remake this time around was easily the most fun I think I've ever had watching this film, but still, I've got problems with My Bloody Valentine 3D. It's a mixed bag. I still think the movie is okay. I think of all of the remakes that we had back during that first wave of remakes, this is one that I can watch and have a good time while watching, and a movie that I can definitely see myself reaching for and watching, maybe every year around Valentine's Day now. I like the characters. I like the kills. I like the pacing. I love Tom Atkins. Betsy Rue. Need I say more? Betsy Rue. But the questionable moments in the film, the twist, the fact that, as I said, everything just has this artificial look and feel to it, definitely bring the movie down a little bit, in my opinion. Still, I would recommend it if you've not seen My Bloody Valentine 3D. I think you'll probably have a fun time with it. If you take the twist in stride, I think you'll enjoy this film just as a really messy, bloody, fast-paced slasher flick. If you've seen My Bloody Valentine 3D, please let me know your thoughts on it down in the comments section below. If you like this video, please leave it a thumbs up and share it on social media. If you're not following me on social media, those links are in the description. They're also right around here. As always, thanks so much for watching. I really appreciate it. Hope you guys out there all have a great, hopefully bloodless, Valentine's Day. Take care, and until next time, peace. Join the $1 a Month Club and help support my channel on Patreon. Thank you to my current patrons, Kevin Smythe, B-Movie Mike, Robbie Sobel, Turi Delamore, Stephen Flanagan, Lori Holt, Craig Farrand, Farron Sutton, Jeremiah Lambert, Grindhouse Grotto, Derek Jana, Demon Waffles, Simon Clark, Stone Gassman, Zachary Barton, Lauren Dixon, James Welch, Eli Geisler, Jeff Overing, Pete Toll, Kyle McGuire, Jay the Stingray, Andrew McDonald, Dave Barnes, Jonathan Lundy, Chris Gonzalez, The R-Rated Show, Fear Fuel, Jason Breitenbach, Brandon Bisdick, Steak Sauce, Mark Striano, Jeff Gardner, The Obsoletionist, Chris Earls, Kevin Fitzpatrick, Randall Beatty, Joseph Hinkle, Hey Isn't That Devon Graham, Christian Hannah Horror, HorrorBreakdown.com, Jeanette Spivak, Orc145626, W.E. Bora, Jeffrey Hill, Dave Vanderhoff, Nene and Jesse, Captain Halloween, Brad Frazier, and Mark Lopez. Say hello to the internet, Jeremy.
Hello to the internet.